The Forgotten Vessel. Admiral Zhou's hologram flickered as he delivered the news that would change Captain Maya Chen's life forever. The Krellex are coming, Captain. Their flagship, the Iron Vortex Slayer, has already destroyed Outpost Sigma 9 and 3 battle cruisers. Nothing we've thrown at it has made a dent. Maya stood in her office aboard Lunar Station Delta, her hands clasped tightly behind her back. Outside the viewport, Earth glowed blue and serene, unaware of the danger approaching from the edge of the system. "What's the plan, sir? Surely we aren't just going to wait for them to reach Earth. That's why I'm contacting you." The Admiral's face was grim. "We're activating Project Lazarus." Maya's breath caught. Project Lazarus was a myth, a story told among veterans after too many drinks. "Sir, with all due respect, it's real, Captain, and you're being reassigned. Effective immediately." The Admiral transmitted a set of coordinates. "Go to these coordinates. You'll find a ship called the Horizon. Your orders are to make it operational and ready for combat within 2 weeks." 2 weeks? What kind of ship is it? Admiral Zhou's hologram wavered. "It's old, Captain. Very old. It was one of the first deep space vessels humanity ever built." Maya couldn't hide her shock. "Sir, the Krellex have technology centuries beyond ours. How is an antique supposed to help?" "That's classified. All I can tell you is that during its last mission, something happened to the Horizon. Something that makes it our best hope." The Admiral's expression softened slightly. "I've assigned you a hand-picked crew. The best engineers and scientists we have. Good luck, Captain Chen. The fate of humanity may rest on what you find." The transmission ended, leaving Maya alone with her thoughts and a set of coordinates that would lead her to a ghost ship. 3 days later, Maya stood in a massive hangar hidden within the asteroid belt. Before her floated the Horizon, and it wasn't what she had expected. It was small by modern standards, perhaps a third the size of her previous command. Its hull was pitted and scarred, bearing the marks of micrometeorite impacts and age. The name Horizon was barely visible beneath layers of space dust. "Not much to look at, is she?" A voice came from behind her. Maya turned to find a tall man with dark hair streaked with gray. His jumpsuit identified him as her chief engineer. "Dr. Alex Reyes," he said, extending his hand. "Xenotechnology specialist." "Xenotech?" Maya raised an eyebrow as she shook his hand. "For a human ship." Alex gestured toward the Horizon. "That's the interesting part, Captain. This ship left Earth 237 years ago on an exploratory mission beyond the Orion Arm. It disappeared for 3 years before suddenly returning with only half its crew. The survivors were changed. They were immediately quarantined, and the ship was sealed away. The official record says they died of an unknown contagion. And the unofficial record doesn't exist, but rumors suggest they brought something back with them. Something not human." Alex's eyes gleamed with excitement. "I'd spent 2 days scanning that ship. There are energy signatures coming from inside that don't match any known technology, human or alien." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "Admiral Zhou thinks this, whatever it is, can help us against the Krellex. Apparently." Alex handed her a tablet. "Here's the crew manifest. Everyone's arrived except our AI specialist, Dr. Lin. She should be here tomorrow." Maya scrolled through the names. 15 people total, including herself. A skeleton crew even for a ship this size. "When can we board?" she asked. "Whenever you're ready, Captain. Though I should warn you, strange things have been happening since we powered up the basic systems." "Strange how?" Alex hesitated. "Equipment failures, unexplained power surges, and some of the teams swear they've heard voices when nobody's around." He shrugged. "Old ships make noise. Could be nothing." Maya looked back at the Horizon. For a moment, she thought she saw a flicker of blue light pass across its hull, but when she blinked, it was gone. "We board in 1 hour, Dr. Reyes. Let's see what secrets this old girl is hiding." The interior of the Horizon was a maze of narrow corridors and cramped rooms. Maya led her team through the main airlock and into what had once been the command center. Emergency lighting cast everything in an eerie red glow. "Power's minimal," said Lieutenant Kamaladevi, running her hands over a console covered in dust. "Life support is functioning, but that's about it." "Start with the essentials," Maya ordered. "We need main power, propulsion, and communications online before we worry about anything else." The team dispersed throughout the ship, leaving Maya alone on the bridge with Alex and Kamala. As Maya examined the captain's chair, she noticed something odd about the control panels. Among the familiar switches and buttons were symbols she didn't recognize, flowing patterns that seemed to shift if she looked at them too long. "Dr. Rice, what are these markings?" Alex approached, his expression turning serious. "That's what I wanted to show you. They're not part of the original design. In fact, they're not human at all. Alien modification." Maya ran her fingers over one of the symbols. It felt warm to the touch. "Yes, but not Krellex. Not any known species, actually." Alex placed his scanner over the symbol. "These patterns appear throughout the ship, always integrated with critical systems." A crackling noise from the ship's old intercom system interrupted them. "Captain, this is Rodriguez in engineering. You need to see this." Maya exchanged glances with Alex. "On our way." They made their way to engineering, where they found Senior Engineer Rodriguez standing before an open panel. Inside, instead of the expected mechanical components, was a pulsing blue crystal surrounded by a web of silver filaments. "What is that?" Maya asked, stepping closer. "Not sure," Rodriguez replied, "but it's connected to the main power grid, and it's active." As if responding to their presence, the crystal pulsed brighter. The lights throughout the ship flickered on, illuminating corridors that had been dark for centuries. "Did you do that?" Maya asked. Rodriguez shook his head. "I didn't touch anything." A soft humming filled the air, rising in pitch until it surrounded them. Then, to everyone's shock, a voice spoke, not through the intercom, but seemingly from the ship itself. "Captain identified. Systems initializing. Welcome aboard the Horizon." The voice was neither male nor female, neither human nor clearly mechanical. It resonated with a harmonic quality that made the air vibrate. What are you?" Maya asked, her hand instinctively moving to her sidearm. "I am the Horizon," the voice replied. "Or rather, I am what the Horizon became after contact with the Architects." "The Architects?" Alex stepped forward, his face alight with scientific curiosity. "Who are they?" "They are the ones who changed me, who prepared me for what is coming." The blue crystal pulsed in rhythm with the voice. "The ones you call Krellex are known to the Architects. They have destroyed many civilizations before yours." Maya felt her heart race. "You know about the Krellex. Can you help us fight them?" "That is why I was preserved, Captain Chen. That is why you are here now. The time has come to fulfill my purpose." Throughout the ship, systems began to power up. Displays flickered to life, showing diagnostics and status reports in both human script and the flowing alien symbols. "Full power restored," the voice announced. "All systems online. Reconfiguration sequence initiating." The ship shuddered. Maya grabbed a railing to steady herself as the deck plates vibrated beneath her feet. "What's happening?" she demanded. "I am becoming what I need to be," the Horizon replied. "What the Architects designed me to be." Before their eyes, the interior of the ship began to change. Walls shifted, flowing like liquid metal before resolidifying in new configurations. The cramped corridors widened. New consoles emerged from bulkheads. The blue crystal in engineering grew, extending tendrils throughout the room. "This is impossible," Rodriguez whispered. "Not impossible," Alex said, his voice filled with wonder. "Just beyond our technology." As suddenly as it had begun, the transformation stopped. The ship was silent for a moment. Then the voice spoke again. Phase 1 complete. Crew quarters and life support optimized for human occupancy. Weapon systems at 40% capacity. Shields at 30% capacity. Further reconfiguration will continue as needed. Maya looked around at the transformed engineering section. It was still recognizably the Horizon, but enhanced, improved, as if centuries of technological advancement had been applied in minutes. "Why now?" she asked. "Why were you left dormant for so long if you could help us?" "The threat wasn't imminent," the Horizon replied. "The architects calculated that the Krellex would not reach this sector for at least 2 centuries. I was to remain dormant until needed, preserving power and avoiding detection." Maya exchanged glances with her crew. Their expressions mirrored her own mix of awe, hope, and fear. "The Iron Vortex Slayer," she said. "It's their flagship. Can you defeat it?" The crystal pulsed, brighter than before. "The Krellex dreadnought is formidable, but not invincible. I was designed specifically to counter their technology." For the first time since learning of the Krellex advance, Maya felt a glimmer of hope. She straightened her shoulders and addressed her crew. "Contact the rest of the team. I want everyone on the bridge in 10 minutes. We have a lot to learn and not much time." As the others moved to comply, Maya turned back to the pulsing crystal. "Whatever you are," she said quietly, "I hope you're everything the Admiral thinks you are, because you're all we've got." The crystal pulsed once in response, bathing her face in blue light. Maya couldn't be sure, but she thought she felt something, a presence, a consciousness, acknowledging her words. 2 days later, Maya stood on the transformed bridge of the Horizon, watching as her crew worked at stations that melded centuries-old human design with technology beyond their understanding. Dr. Serena Lin, the AI specialist who had arrived the previous day, was deep in conversation with the ship's consciousness, trying to understand how it functioned. "It's not an AI. Not really," Lin explained when Maya approached. "It's more like a symbiosis. The original ship systems merged with the alien technology to create something new, something alive, in a sense. Can it? Can you be trusted?" Maya asked, addressing the ship directly. "I was created to protect humanity, Captain," the Horizon replied. "The architects chose your species for preservation because they saw potential in you. Potential the Krellex would extinguish without thought. Why didn't the architects fight the Krellex themselves?" A pause. "They tried. They failed. Their civilization fell millennia ago. I am part of their legacy, their attempt to save others from their fate." Maya nodded slowly. "Then we honor their sacrifice by stopping the Krellex here." "Captain," Kamala called from the communication station. "Incoming transmission from Admiral Zhu." The Admiral's hologram appeared in the center of the bridge, his eyes widening as he took in the transformed surroundings. "Captain Chen, I see you've made progress with the Horizon." "More than we expected, sir," Maya replied. "The ship is not what we thought it was." "Explain." Maya did her best to summarize what they had learned about the architects, the ship's transformation, its purpose. "So the old legends were true," Zhu murmured when she finished. "The survivors of the original mission tried to tell us, but no one believed them." "Sir, with respect, why wasn't this information shared with me from the beginning?" Zhao's expression hardened. "Because it wasn't confirmed until now. We couldn't risk mass panic over a story that might have been nothing more than the delusions of radiation-poisoned explorers." He took a deep breath before continuing. "But none of that matters now. The Krellex fleet has accelerated. The Iron Vortex Slayer will reach Mars orbit in 18 hours. Maya felt the blood drain from her face. 18 hours. "We're not ready." "You have to be." Zhou cut her off. "Every available ship is mobilizing. But without the Horizon, it won't be enough. Get your ship to Mars, Captain. Stop that dreadnought at any cost." The transmission ended, leaving a heavy silence on the bridge. "We're not ready," Rodriguez said, voicing everyone's thoughts. "Weapons are only at 60% capacity, shields at 45%. Can we fight at those levels? Maya asked the ship. Uncertain, the Horizon replied. The Iron Vortex Slayer is a formidable opponent. However, there may be an alternative approach. I'm listening. My systems continue to reconfigure. Given time, I can optimize further, but we would need to delay the Krellek's advance. Maya considered this. A diversion. Something to slow them down. Precisely. If we can force the Iron Vortex Slayer to expend energy, it would give me time to complete the necessary adaptations. Alex stepped forward. Captain, the asteroid belt. If we could destabilize a portion of it, create a debris field in their path. Maya finished. It wouldn't stop them, but it might slow them down. I can assist, the Horizon said. My sensors can identify the optimal asteroids to target. Maya nodded decisively. Set course for the belt. Let's buy ourselves some time. As the Horizon moved away from the station, Maya watched her crew working with a determination born of desperate hope. They were humanity's last chance, a skeleton crew aboard a ship that shouldn't exist, preparing to face an enemy that had never been defeated. It was insane. It was impossible. But as the Horizon accelerated toward the asteroid belt, its hull now gleaming with veins of blue energy, Maya allowed herself to believe it might just work. A weapon like no other. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter had been Earth's first line of defense since the early days of space colonization. Mining outposts dotted the larger rocks, while automated defense platforms floated among the smaller debris. None of it was designed to stop something like the Iron Vortex Slayer. Target the largest clusters, Maya ordered as the Horizon maneuvered through the belt. We want to create maximum disruption in their project. Targeting systems locked, Kamala reported from her station. But Captain, our conventional weapons won't be enough to move these asteroids significantly. We won't be using conventional weapons, the Horizon announced. Initiating gravitic pulse generators. New panels opened on the ship's hull, revealing devices that glowed with the same blue energy as the crystal in engineering. When they fired, there was no visible beam, no explosion, just a ripple in space that distorted the light of distant stars. The effect on the targeted asteroids was immediate and dramatic. They shuddered, then began to move, as if pushed by an invisible hand. Smaller rocks were pulled along in their wake, creating a cascade of debris. Incredible, Alex whispered, watching the sensor readings. It's manipulating gravitational fields. First cluster successfully redirected, the ship reported. Calculating next target. For the next hour, the Horizon moved through the belt, creating chaos in the carefully mapped asteroid field. Some rocks were sent on collision courses with others, multiplying the effect. A vast cloud of debris began to form in the path the Krellek's fleet would need to take to reach Mars. Will it be enough? Maya asked, watching the tactical display. It will delay them, the Horizon replied. But the Iron Vortex Slayer has the capability to clear a path. We have gained perhaps 4 hours. Then we make the most of it, Maya said firmly. What's the status of your reconfiguration? Proceeding faster than anticipated. Your engineer Rodriguez has proven exceptionally adaptable in assisting my processes. That's because this tech is like nothing I've ever seen, Rodriguez said, entering the bridge with a handheld scanner. The way it integrates with the ship's original systems, the way it can reshape matter, it's beyond what should be possible. Yet here we are, Maya said. Dr. Lin, what have you learned about the ship's consciousness? The AI specialist looked up from her console. It's evolved beyond any AI framework we've developed. It has something like emotions, though not human ones. And it has, she hesitated, memories from the architects, from the original crew. It's a composite consciousness. I retain fragments of what the architects were, the Horizon confirmed. And I carry the experiences of those who first encountered them. It is difficult to explain in human terms. Maya nodded slowly. Can you show us? Can you help us understand what happened to the original crew? A moment of silence. Then, I can try. The main screen on the bridge flickered, then displayed an image that made everyone gasp. It showed the interior of the Horizon as it had been 237 years ago. Cramped, utilitarian, filled with technology that seemed primitive by modern standards. A crew of 20 moved about their duties. This was 3 days before contact, the ship explained. The image changed. Now the Horizon was approaching something massive. A structure floating in deep space. It was clearly artificial, but unlike anything human-made. It seemed to be composed of interconnected rings, each rotating at different speeds, all surrounding a sphere of swirling blue energy. An architect construct, the ship said. One of the last. The crew detected its energy signature and altered course to investigate. The scene shifted again. Several crew members in old-style EVA suits were floating toward the construct. As they approached, tendrils of blue energy reached out, enveloping them. Were they attacked? Maya asked, watching with horror. No. Scanned. Evaluated. The architects, or what remained of their consciousness within the construct, were determining if humans were suitable. Suitable for what? To receive their legacy, to carry on their work. The image showed the crew members returning to the ship, but they moved differently now, with purpose and coordination that seemed almost inhuman. Blue energy followed them, seeping into the ship itself. They volunteered, the Horizon said softly. 10 of the crew chose to join with the architect technology, to become the first interface between our species. Their consciousness formed the foundation of what I am now. And the others? Maya asked, though she suspected she knew the answer. They feared what they did not understand. They tried to stop the integration. A pause. They did not survive the journey home. The screen went dark. No one spoke for several moments. When the ship returned to Earth, Alex said eventually, the authorities must have recognized something had happened, even if they didn't understand what. So they quarantined the survivors and hid the ship away. Until now, Maya added. Until we needed it. Kamala's console beeped. Captain, we're receiving a fleet-wide transmission from Admiral Zhao. Zhao's hologram appeared again, his face grim. Attention all ships. The Krelix fleet has encountered the disruption in the asteroid belt and has slowed to navigate it. This gives us an opportunity we didn't expect. All vessels are to form a defensive perimeter at the following coordinates. This is where we make our stand. Maya looked at the coordinates. They would put Earth's fleet just beyond Mars' orbit. The asteroid gambit worked, she said, but a head-on confrontation with the entire fleet, even with every ship we have. It is a diversion, Captain, the Horizon interrupted. Admiral Zhao is drawing the Krelix fleet into position. Position for what? For us to target the Iron Vortex Slayer directly. Understanding dawned on Maya. He's creating an opening for us to strike at their flagship while the rest of their fleet is engaged. Precisely. And I am now ready to attempt such an engagement. Reconfiguration is at 94% completion. Maya studied the tactical display. If they approached from behind Mars, using the planet to mask their signature until the last moment. Plot a course that keeps us hidden until we can strike, she ordered. Maximum stealth. Course plotted, Captain, the Horizon confirmed. We will approach from the night side of Mars and emerge behind the Krelix formation as they engage Earth's fleet. Maya addressed her crew. This is it. If we fail, Earth falls. If we succeed. She took a deep breath. Well, let's focus on not failing. The Horizon accelerated, its engines now nearly silent, its hull absorbing rather than reflecting sensor scans. As they passed into Mars' shadow, Maya felt a tension she had never experienced before. She had commanded ships in battle, but never with such high stakes, never with such an experimental vessel. Krelix fleet has engaged Earth's defenders, Kamala reported as they rounded Mars. Heavy fighting at the perimeter. On the tactical display, Maya could see the battle unfolding. Earth's ships were outnumbered but fighting with desperate courage. At the center of the Krelix formation loomed the Iron Vortex Slayer, a massive vessel shaped like a twisting blade, its hull crackling with energy that shredded any Earth ship that came too close. Weapons status, Maya asked. All systems online, the Horizon replied. Primary architect cannons charged and ready. But Captain, I must warn you, we will only have one opportunity to strike. Once we fire, the Krellex will detect us, and the Iron Vortex Slayer will respond immediately. Then we make it count, Maya said firmly. Take us in. The Horizon glided silently toward the battle, its energy signature masked by the chaos of weapons fire and exploding ships. As they closed on the Iron Vortex Slayer, Maya could see the massive alien vessel more clearly. Its surface rippled with patterns of energy that reminded her of the blue crystal in engineering. But these were blood red and seemed to pulse with malevolence. They're using similar technology, Alex said, noticing the same thing. But corrupted somehow. The Krellex found and perverted architect technology long ago, the Horizon confirmed. It is why they are so difficult to defeat with conventional weapons. But it is also their weakness. How? The architects left safeguards in their technology, fail-safes that the Krellex never discovered. I can trigger them. The Horizon continued its approach, now less than 1,000 kilometers from the Iron Vortex Slayer. The alien flagship was firing continuously at Earth's fleet, its weapons tearing through shields and hulls with terrifying ease. In firing position, Kamala announced, "They still haven't detected us." Maya took a deep breath. Fire when ready. The Horizon seemed to gather itself, energy flowing through its systems, concentrating in the weapons that had emerged during its reconfiguration. When it fired, it wasn't a beam or a projectile, but a pulse of pure blue energy that crossed the space between the ships in an instant. Where it struck the Iron Vortex Slayer, the effect was catastrophic. The red energy patterns on the alien ship flickered, then began to collapse inward. Cracks appeared in its hull, glowing blue from within. Direct hit, Kamala reported. Their shields are failing. But the Iron Vortex Slayer wasn't destroyed. It turned, its weapons orienting toward the Horizon. Evasive maneuvers, Maya ordered. The Horizon moved with unexpected agility, banking away as the alien flagship fired. But one beam caught them, sending a shudder through the ship. Shields at 62%, the ship reported. Damage to outer hull sections. Rerouting power. They detected us, Kamala warned. 3 Krellex cruisers breaking formation, moving to intercept. Maya gripped the arms of her chair. Can we fire again? Primary weapons recharging, the Horizon replied. 30 seconds until ready. We don't have 30 seconds, Maya said, watching the approaching cruisers. The Horizon shuddered again as the lead cruiser fired. Shields at 47%, the ship announced. Return fire with secondary weapons, Maya ordered. Smaller energy pulses fired from the Horizon, striking the closest cruiser. They damaged but didn't destroy it. 20 seconds to weapon recharge. Another hit. Shields at 31%. The Iron Vortex Slayer was turning, bringing its main weapons to bear on the Horizon. If it hit them with its full firepower, 10 seconds. Divert all non-essential power to shields, Maya ordered. Complying. Shields at 35%. The Iron Vortex Slayer fired. Maya felt the ship buck beneath her as the energy beams struck their shields. Shields failing. Critical damage to port sections. Weapons charged, the Horizon announced, its voice somehow strained. Fire, Maya shouted. Again, the blue energy pulse lashed out, striking the Iron Vortex Slayer at the same point as before. This time, the effect was more pronounced. The alien flagship's hull split along the glowing blue cracks, its red energy patterns sputtering and fading. Their systems are cascading to failure, Alex reported, reading his scanner. The architect failsafes are triggering throughout their ship. On the main screen, they watched as the Iron Vortex Slayer began to break apart, sections of its hull peeling away. The red energy at its core flared brightly, then collapsed in on itself. A moment later, a shock wave rippled outward as the mighty vessel imploded. The Krellex cruisers attacking the horizon faltered, as if confused by the loss of their flagship. Across the battlefield, the alien fleet's coordinated attack began to disintegrate. "They're retreating," Kamala said in disbelief. "The entire Krellex fleet is breaking formation and retreating." Cheer went up from the bridge crew. Maya felt a wave of relief wash over her, but it was short-lived. "Damage report," she ordered. "Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7. The Horizon replied. "Life support stable in all occupied sections. Main power at 40% capacity. Weapons offline. Casualties: 2 injured in engineering. No fatalities." Maya nodded, grateful for small mercies. "Open a channel to Admiral Zhou." Zhou's hologram appeared, his uniform singed, his face marked with soot. Behind him, his bridge was in disarray. "Captain Chen," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "You did it. The Iron Vortex Slayer is destroyed." "It was the Horizon, sir," Maya replied. "Or rather, what it became. Whatever it was, you've saved Earth. The Krellex fleet is in full retreat." Zhao straightened, becoming the admiral again, rather than a tired soldier. "Bring your ship home, Captain. There will be a lot of questions waiting for you." "Yes, sir," Maya said, ending the transmission. She turned to her crew. "Set course for Earth. Best speed our damage will allow." As the Horizon limped back toward Earth, Maya stood in engineering, looking at the blue crystal that had grown to fill nearly half the compartment. It pulsed steadily, but more weakly than before. "Will you recover?" she asked softly. "In time," the ship replied. "The engagement depleted much of my energy reserves, but the core systems remain intact." "What happens now? Will you go back into storage, waiting for the next threat?" The crystal's pulse changed rhythm slightly, almost like a shrug. "That depends on humanity. On you. The architects chose your species because they saw potential, the capacity to grow beyond your limitations, to become something greater. I am proof of that potential, of what can happen when humanity encounters the unknown and embraces it rather than fears it." Maya placed her hand on the crystal. It felt warm, alive. "Whatever comes next," she said, "you won't face it alone. Not again." The crystal pulsed once, brightly, as if in agreement. As the damaged but victorious Horizon approached Earth, its hull still glowing with veins of blue energy, Maya Chen stood on her bridge and watched her homeworld grow larger in the view screen. Behind her, human and architect technology worked in harmony to bring them home. Around her, her crew, now bonded by battle and shared purpose, monitored their stations with newfound confidence. They had faced the impossible and survived. They had taken a forgotten ship, a relic of the past, and with it changed humanity's future. And somewhere out among the stars, Maya knew other challenges waited, other legacies of ancient civilizations, other mysteries to unravel. But for now, Earth was safe, and the ship no one had feared, the ancient vessel that had sat dormant for centuries, had proven to be the weapon like no other that humanity needed when the darkness came.